Om. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Who wants to start?
I start today.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Om Pataya Pradipoditam Bhagavatam Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Krakitam Purana Muninam Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamidavashini Bhagavatim Ashtashtashatyayanim Ambattvamanusandatami Bhagavad-gite Bhavateshini.
Suvarna?
I can read.
Yeah, please go ahead, Anand.
Namostute vyasa visala buddhe Ularavindaaya tapatra netre Yena tvaya bharata taila purna Prajvalito jnanamaya pradeepa Prapanna parijataya Totravete kapanaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gita Murtaduhe Namaha.
Sorry, go ahead, Swarna.
No, go ahead.
Please. Vasudam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Swarna, you can. Sarvadharman Paridyajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyaha Mokshayishami Ma Suchaha.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunitha.
So we moved on to shloka number 9 last time, and shloka number, after finishing almost like 9 values, and we were finishing with Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Dosha Anudarshanam. That was the one that we were almost completing it. But in the regard to all these values that we've done, I came across this particular story, which is, it's a story which says, don't confuse borrowed status with earned respect. The whole idea is how, having gone through this anahankaraha, that was one, and then even amanitvam and adambitvam is, many times what happens is for us in our life, we think, whatever achievement we do in our life or whatever, even the roles that we take, and because of the roles, the promotions that we get, or any applause that we get, it is for, something that I have done. So this is actually a story about a donkey which is going in the town. So it's about like one fine morning, this donkey was chosen, okay, among all. Normally, you know how it is, the elephants, especially if you come to Kerala, you see the elephants are the ones which are carrying the gods, or, so we have all the animals. So, but then this donkey was chosen to carry this shining golden statue through the center of the city. So everywhere where it went, the people would bow low, they knelt, they praised, they raised their hands in respect. So the donkey, thought it became very proud, and it thought, so this is really who I am. All this time, I was underestimating myself. Even the most important people would never really come and see me. But look, I finally have gained the status. And so it is like drunk with joy on this borrowed status. So it starts to slow down. And as it slowed down, I remember there was another story which is about okay, we'll come to that later. It is about this girl who shifts her head and the pot of the milk falls down. But here, it lifts its head higher and it walks with stiff pride. So at one point, it stops even in the middle of the road just to enjoy this whole attention. Then suddenly, one sharp strike comes on the back. Its master just strikes it. It says, "Move, oh fool! They are bowing to the god on your back, not to the animal carrying it." Finally, the donkey learned its lesson, and it is this kind of a lesson that we need to be beaten with all the time, and that is what I see with the values. So these values are kind of a reminder that, hey, nothing has changed within us. All this glory, all these applause, all this praise, or all this condemnation, even, we think that it is this role, that we get so attached to the role that we're playing, and we think it is that part. It's just like this golden statue here. So sometimes it could be, the card that I'm carrying, the visiting card. The visiting card has all these. And in India, it is very common to have 10 degrees behind your name and all the positions you've held. Even I have my card which says all this, but I should never confuse that title for who I am. So we tend to borrow the spotlight and we think that the respect, is for who I am. But in reality, it is many times because of the brand of the company that I'm part of, or sometimes it's for the chair that I'm sitting in, or for the power which is attached. So, as much as it can open a lot of doors, but I have to recognize that when everything is gone, I'm back to my basic self. And for all of us, it's that stark reminder also when we retire from life, from the company, or when we come home after work or anything, we go back to really who we are. It's not all the other things. So I just thought this value, when I saw the story, I was so reminded that, all the values, whether it's amanitvam, adhambitvam, or anahankaraha, and today we'll be doing asaktihi, it's all a reminder that these values, it's that master which is hitting the donkey, it's these values. So I thought I'd just share in just one story, it really brings back that whole thing. So we did all this last time about Indriya Tishvara and everything. I haven't taken the slides out from here, but Anahankara is where we said it's the absence of self-importance. And how is Ankahankara born is something that we tend to fan it, we tend to make it grow, right? And we did this. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Dosha Anudarshanam. So what is it exactly? It is actually seeing the limitations in life itself. So when we think about our life, right, we think, okay, I'm born and I am going towards my death. Now, in between this birth and death, there are other things that's happening, and that is this jara. Jara is old age. It's almost like, okay, today I'm one day older than yesterday. And if you live in a city like Detroit, if you're buying a new car, the day you take the car out of the dealer, you have already more than 40% of the value is already gone, right? So that's how it is for us. We also have lost about so much amount of our capacity to live by this jara. And Vyadi, of course, we don't have to even talk about it. This Vyadi is in our body, it is growing, but we have not really thought about it at all, correct? So Vyadi is something which is inherent in our body. At some point it grows, and the classic example we see is in our tooth that we have to be replaced. We tend to ignore, finally we have to replace it. So Vyadi is something which is there. And in all this, there is some amount of dukkham associated with it. There is sorrow, but we don't see it. The Buddhist philosophy, that's why they say about sarvam, everything is dukkham, dukkham, that's how they call it. The life itself is dukkham. Um, so that's what, so life begins with the birth and then it ends with the death. And um, Yama is like waiting around the corner. He's just saying, okay, you guys wake up. I know you're busy, busy, busy. You know, how long are you going to be this busy? Keep in mind that one day I'm coming. And with old age, of course, we are more and more, we are trying to, hold on to who we are. We love being young. We don't want to, we are forever young. I think there's a store in 12 Oaks Mall, right? It says forever young. I don't know if it still exists. I don't even know if 12 Oaks exists. Probably 12 Oaks is also gone by now, right?
12 Oaks still
Forever
exists. It's
21.
forever
21.
one. Yeah.
Oh,
Forever 21.
21. Oh, forever
Yes.
21. Okay. It's amazing. All this marketing and advertising, um, I'm sure there must be, I don't know, people do PhDs or something in learning how to be in advertising. I wonder if there's a PhD in advertising. They give degrees of PhD in advertising on how to make people feel that they are forever young, you know. But thankfully, there is something called Vedanta which is allowing us to recognize our true age. So, old age is something that is happening to us. And Vyadhi and Dukkham, as I said, Dukkham is part and parcel of it. We need to recognize it as part and parcel. But the idea is, pain is there because of Vyadhi, but do I need to feel the pain? I have to recognize, yes, the pain is there, but it's up to me on how I deal with the pain. So that is where this pain and sorrow concepts are important to understand. Sorrow is when I feel that, oh my God, why me? Why did this why did this happen? And we get into the state of depression, all this, right? So this whole value, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, is reminding us as much as there is joy, there is that pain, but it's up to me on how I deal with joy or pain. So long as I can be balanced, so long as I'm in the moment, so long as I'm recognizing that moment for what it is and I'm enjoying it, it is fine. I mean, not that when I have pain, I'm going to enjoy it. It's not that. But when I have pain in the body, I recognize that, yes, I'm going through this pain. I have to do something about it, but it is not going to be there forever. And I need to move on. So that's what this value is basically trying to say. And this pain, of course, can come from all sides. But the pain can be from within a body, pain can be outside, somebody, saying something and I feel the pain. And sometimes the pain can also be, I mean, from sources which are uncontrollable, and that is why they say the pain, we can be hurt by Adi Devika, Adi Bhautika, and Adhyatmika. this pain can be from anywhere. That is part and parcel of life, to be able to accept it. So then the question is, we need to recognize for whom is this problem in each one of the stages. You know, that's what the reflection is all about. The reflection is, who is going through all this? You know, is it Sunitha who thinks she's a body who's going through it, or is it somebody beyond that? So dukkha dosha anudarshanam is just as a reminder that it's all part and parcel of the physical self, what I've taken up, but I am actually beyond that. So that is what we have to go beyond. So the idea is to keep our mind on our purpose of life and not to fritter it away. And of course, this brings our reflective questions here is to recognize really, how am I spending my time today? Am I recognizing the fact that I am so and so, so many years old, I'm 60 years old or whatever, or anyway, 50 years old, 45 years old, you know, and am I doing the right activities at that age? Am I being in the moment? And am I recognizing that there is something called death that can happen? And this is very important for us, right? We don't pay attention to it. I mean, but we need to really be objective towards life in general. So that's basically, you know, what this value is all about. Any more thoughts to discuss or about this particular? I guess one more thing which I thought was, as much as we're going through this part of life, which is from birth to death, but we have to recognize that we're going through cycles of this. You know, we are born, we die, then we're born, and then we die again. We're born, we die again. So how much am I learning in each one of these lives that I'm going through? And how has my life become more meaningful? I mean, this can be taken even from going through a month to month, day to day, you know, and within a day from morning to evening. Am I being in the moment? Am I being alert? Am I being pushed around by somebody else? You know, so that's the reflection for this one. Okay, so now moving on to shloka number 10. So shloka number 10, asaktir anabhishwangaha putradara grihadishu nityam cha samachittatvam ishta nishtopa pattishu. Ishta and anishta. So asaktir anabhishwangaha putradara grihadishu nityam cha samachittatvam ishta nishtopa pattishu. So asaktihi, which means non-attachment, non-identification, which is anabhishwangaha, putra, non-identification with what? And that is putra, dara, griha, adishu. Today we'll be taking asaktihi, which is non-attachment, but the follow-up will be what are we attached to, and that is what these are the main things. And no matter what age we have lived in, it's always this identification here. And then nityam, constant, even-mindedness. Nityam cha sama chittatvam, being constantly even-minded, balanced. With in situations where I may get what I desired for, or in situations where I expected a lot, but I did not get anything out of it. So that's what this thing is about. So let's see the first one, which is asaktihi. So asaktihi, Saktihi. Saktihi means, attachment or ownership. Well, maybe let's take it as ownership here. So, a sense of complete ownership on something. That is Saktihi. So, Asaktihi, which is when you put an R, it negates it. So, it is the absence of an attitude of being, of owning anything. So this ownership is, if you think about it, it is only notional. But possession of something, it is actually, it's a fact that I possess something. So asakti is actually a reduction of all false relationships. So anything that I own for, like if I say, this is my phone, I own it. Okay. If I start to analyze each and every aspect of this phone, I can say that for the moment I am renting it. I'm not owning this phone because prior to me getting this phone, it was in the hands of the manufacturer. It came to me, I'll be renting it for some time, and then I'm going to actually give it up. Okay, so I cannot claim an exclusive, permanent ownership to, if I start to look at each and everything in front of me, this room, I'm actually in a room which pretty soon we're going to vacate. Okay, and I've been using this room for quite some time, for 3 years now. And am I really going to own this room? No. So if I analyze each and every aspect which is there in front of me, even this body, for example, do I really own it? Is something that we need to think about. So let's take, even as simple as our house. I cannot really claim any ownership to the house. I mean, in US, I still remember when we were looking for a house, and the realtor would always tell us, okay, you should choose to buy a house which will be easy to sell. Okay. So don't buy a house which or don't build a house. I think because buying a house, of course, you cannot change anything in that. But if you're going to build a house, because most, being Indians, we always want to have a puja room and everything. But now that is not something that maybe if you have a puja room, that may whoever is going to buy the house may not buy the house because you have this extra room, which is probably not the right place for somebody else, right? So that's how we are already accustomed to. So in a way, it is probably a good thing. The realtors are telling, don't get too attached to this house because guess what? You have to sell it someday. So, make sure you think that you're just renting the house, right? So, but even if you think about it with the house, there are so many things about this. You have to first build it. To build the house, starting with, the wood and the nails, and, you need carpenters, so many different people who are, building that house. And when so many people are building the house, um, you can imagine, I mean, that house was in the possession of so many different people at different times. And only now it has come into your possession where finally you're enjoying it. So the house is not this one. Now, the next question, let's go a little more deeper. Is my body mine? When we are very young, our parents, they claim an ownership to it, right? The mother will say that, no, 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 this is my baby. The father will say, no, 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 it's only because of me. This baby is born. And finally, when we die, who takes claim of the body? It's the crematoriums and the uh, funeral places. So even for my own body, I cannot take claim. I'm only a managing trustee of the body, and me as a soul, I have taken possession of this body. I'm living in here. I'm enjoying everything. I'm doing whatever is needed. And finally, I have to give up this body and keep moving, right? So, this brings this very important concept of, am I possessing something or I'm taking ownership? So, basically, I think we need to have this attitude of taking possession of something rather than ownership. Because the minute I put an attitude of possession, it puts the relationship into anything where we are able to, view it as in a kind of a very dispassionate way. I know that I'm possessing it right now. I know I have to give it up. So uh, I really like that aspect of owning a house then in US because again, the houses are made of wood. It is very easy to bring it down and construct another new one. In India, you take years to build a nice concrete house. There is no way that you're going to give it up. So, so the idea is that we need to have something without a clinging attachment to something. So we need to look at it in such a way that it is non-inclusive, it is impermanent, but at the same time, while I'm possessing it, I can actually enjoy it. So that would be the right attitude by which I can really practice this value called asaktihi. I recognize that this thing that I own, this phone that I own, or anything that I own, is just a notional thing. Tomorrow, I myself am not going to be there. So I better not develop this clinging attachment to all the house, the jewels, uh, particularly jewels, right? Even house, we may say we can give it up, but the jewels that we own, which we don't wear, which is there in the locker most of the time, but I claim a strong ownership to those things, right? So that is what asakti is. Asakti is that non-attachment in the sense of seeing my relationship to all these objects in a very objective way. So once we have that, it's very easy to develop vairagyam. We did this quality called indriyarteshu vairagyam, right? So in indriyarteshu vairagyam, basically what we are seeing is anything and everything I see, I am having um, a dispassion towards it. I'm not having a overall an attachment to all the things. I'm able to enjoy it for what it is, and I just don't get into it. So it's connected to only objects. Whereas asakti is at the mental level. At the mental level, I already recognize that everything that is in front of me, whether it's the relationships with my own family, but it is also the situations. I may not be in the same position for a long time. So I have to be very clear about it. I may not be in a certain room which is given to me for a long time. I have to be clear about it. So Asakti takes it at the mental level. So if Indriyarteshu Vairagyam is Dhamma, Asaktihi is Shama, Sama. We have Dhamma, Sama, and Uparati, which is part of sadhana chatushtaya. So asakti is that. So it is a mental detachment. It leads us to, being um, avoiding any kind of mental slavery, any external object, situation, or person. I'm very clear about it. that I don't possess it, or I don't own it. I'm only possessing it for a short while. So it's kind of a mental detachment for all of us. So that is what asakti is. And this shloka here, which is from shloka number 6, from 3rd chapter, Karmendriyani Sanyamyam, Ya Aste Manasa Smaran, Indriyarthan Vimudhatma, Mithyachara Sa Uchyate. So initially, we start with sense control, that's Indriyarthi Vairagam, but after sense control, the mind continues to have that vasana for it, for whatever we have taken. And therefore, we have to know how to handle the mind also. And for that, the mind has to be educated through these values, asakti. And once the mind is mastered, then even if that whatever I'm addicted to, it could be anything. It could be sweets. It could be even a cereal, or it could be the serial in our computer, in the Netflix. It could be Netflix thing. But at least Netflix, you have to turn it on. But imagine if you are going to a party and you have all this food in front of you, right? So even that, it's very easy to say no to it if I have this value of asakti. And this can lead to this, raga dvesha viyuktaistu vishayan indriyas charan atma vashair vidheyatma prasadam adhigarchati. So once his mind is mastered, that person can never get tempted at all to any kind of physical. So this detachment is at the mental level. So that is what asakti is. So let's look at some points for reflection here. So do we think that this value is practical or impractical, especially in today's world? And this asakti again is again more and more important because, as I said, advertising, there are more and more things that we are getting addicted to, which did not exist when we were very young. When we were young, we didn't have social media. We didn't have Instagram, Facebook, all that. We didn't even have the internet. We didn't have the computers. We didn't have the TVs. We didn't have any of those. But yet, life still went on, right? But today we have all this. So do we think that this value is impractical? What do you think?
Yeah, it is practical. In the sense, when we have limited things, then we could be the asakti can be practiced more. Whereas
Correct.
compared to that, now we have even many more things, like in terms of the objects and then what are the attractions. So then this value is even more important now.
That's right. So, I mean, again, our stages of life are so well structured, right? I mean, after Grihasthashram, you have the Vanaprastha. We have to give up things. We have to trim down. What do you call that? What is this terminology which we use to trimming down?
Downsize, Sunita ji.
Downsizing. We have to downsize. I think there's just no question about it. We have to downsize.
With the higher goal, I am thinking.
Correct, with the higher goal, right?
Higher goal. Then only you can drop the lower and catch on to
Yes,
the higher. Yeah.
correct, correct. So are we really downsizing? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how attached are we to all our possessions in our life? I think, again, we have to make a list of everything that I possess, including the pen and everything, how attached I am to the possessions in my life. So sometimes we need some examples, and this is a classic example, I think, right? And this happens in India very often. I mean, I remember as soon as we moved here, I was telling Ashok, let's not buy a car or anything. We'll just go use a metro and Ubers and all that. He said, no, I think if we need one for an emergency, what do we do? So we bought a car. It was a brand new white car, and we took out for a ride. And the very first day, somebody hit the car, um, it happens. So, at that moment you feel, okay, we just bought this car, somebody's sitting it and it's already damaged, you know. So then what do we do? Do we get mad? Do we go behind the guy? That's really when these values hit you. Yes, you do get angry at the moment, but the question is, how long do you hold on to that anger? Are you able to give it up quite easily and then recognize after all it's only a car, kind of thing. So, and then have we understood the basic reason why this value is needed to study Vedanta? That is the more important thing is, do we think that dispassionate, non-attached attitude would make the mind more peaceful and hence more conducive to understanding and assimilating Vedanta? Do I need to be, I mean, people may ask, there are different types of people. There are people who don't even know such values exist. You tend to work hard, you possess things, and you go on with the life. Then there are some of us who may think that, do I really need uh, these things? Is this pulling me down? For sure, it is pulling us down because if for whatever reason, like even in the house, you have a nice china cabinet, you're putting all the things in the china cabinet, and one day with a vacuum cleaner, you hit the cabinet and something falls down. You feel the pain of, I had this for so long, my mother gave me this, and now this is broken. What do I do? These things. So, asakti is important, that I clearly have an idea of this stuff that I'm having. Am I possessing it or am I owning it? That's the question I have. The minute I say I'm owning it, that's when the problem happens for us. So I have to shift slowly to everything that I own today to say that I'm only renting it. I'm just possessing it. I have to give it up. I've read a lot of stories about how, many in some families, the grandmothers, as they're growing old, they start giving up their things. They start giving up first a lot of the jewels and all that, saying, okay, this is for you, this is for you, all this. Then their good saris, and finally bring down to, just 2 or 3 saris, whatever they possess, so that they're ready for, so that kind of a value is needed for all of us. Anything to share? Yeah, go ahead, Jayashree.
Sorry.
I'm not able to hear you, Jayashree.
No, I'm sorry. No,
Oh,
I didn't
that's
mean
okay.
to say anything. Sorry.
No problem.
Hari Om, this is definitely points for reflection. It's definitely points for reflection. I'm kind of stuck on this question. How have you understood the basic reason why this value is needed to study Vedanta? Do you believe a dispassionate non-attachment towards sense objects would make the mind more peaceful and hence more conducive to understanding and assimilating Vedanta. This is definitely for me a point of reflection. I have to self-reflection is needed. I don't think there is a right answer or a wrong answer. It is every person's journey as to how you get to that point, get to moksha or get to understanding the essence of Vedanta. A dispassionate non-attachment towards sense objects. For being dispassionate and to have non-attachment towards sense objects, you have to really first clean your mind through karma yoga. And we have been given all the instructions. We have to do all that to first clean our mind, and then we get to this. But keeping a positive attitude that we'll get there. I'm going to be able to clean my mind of all the clutter and all like we were talking about downsizing, clear my mind of all the unnecessary things that I keep in my mind. I clear it out. I do a deep clean. I do a spring clean. I do a winter clean, and I clean my mind, and I slowly develop the dispassion and non-attachment towards the sense objects. That is something that it's not just the sense objects. We have to, it's like we have to also be aware of that the opposites, right? The happiness and the joy. It can be because of the sense objects, but it also can be due to our own feelings. The same feeling at one point might give you happiness, but when you're not in that right frame of mind, the same thing can give you unhappiness too. When you are in the right mind of frame of mind, you can say that that scratch on the car was okay, it happened, it's okay, it is part of life. But when you are not in the right frame of mind, oh my god, my new car, it's the same thing. It can cause us a lot of things just because the mind is not clean enough or clear enough. So this is definitely for me personally, it is reflection. This is definitely a reflective point for me.
It's no, this is also something where we actually go through the list of things on in whatever we have, which is both the physical level and the mental level. And I go and make a list of them, then I go to each one of them and say, am I ready to give this up? Am I ready to give this up? Am I ready to give this up? You know, what is it that then finally I come to a list of maybe every day we have to do this, and every day am I able to take one thing off my list and say, if something happens to this, am I willing to move on? It could be anything. It could be my favorite sofa, which I'm sitting on, the chair. You know, is it something else? So,
Harvam.
yeah, Anand?
Yeah, it's like if I rent a house and we are living there, it's very clear. Like we're paying rent and then it's not our own house.
Mm-hmm.
And then we don't even, I mean, actually, our experience is I don't even accumulate any new furniture or any new things. The first thing
Radhe
is
Radhe Radhe.
space.
குட் மார்னிங். நான் வந்து ஒரு 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 2 நிமிஷத்தை கூப்பிட்டேன் உங்களை. I'm just சொல்லுங்க. அப்படியா? ஓகே ஓகே ஓகே. சரி 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 சரி. ஓகே, தேங்க்யூ தேங்க்யூ. Sorry, I had to take that call.
No, it's okay.
We have to, because of this war situation here in Kerala, and all, we are facing this issue of not having gas cylinders. So we are trying to make a decision. Do we need to continue our class today and all that? So that's why I got a call and I had to take that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Anyway,
really.
yeah.
So
So,
just, yeah, continuing on the thought, like, so
mhm,
as you mentioned, if we have that attitude, like it's not ours, it's like a rental thing,
right,
right? Then that will carry for a long,
correct,
in the long run.
right,
Yeah.
right. You're right. If we have that attitude that I'm only renting it, I'm only renting it, just like I'm renting this body also, I'm renting this body for this life to continue, and I cannot afford to say that I own it. If I own it, then, well, maybe if I say I own it, I might take better care of it than if I say I'm only renting my body. But for the sake of preventing that ownership and the sorrow of anything were to happen, then I need to do this. Yeah. So there is this beautiful quote by Swami Dayanand Saraswati. If you live your life intelligently, you appreciate that you do not own a single thing. So the qualification of living an intelligent life is that you do not own a single thing. You're only a managing trustee. And if you know that you're not the owner, you will manage it well. If, this is very powerful. If you know that you're not the owner, we will actually manage it even better. That's what it's saying. And I'm sure some of you who are, I came across this in a reel, in one of the short reels, there was this quote, and I thought it was so powerful. Detachment, is not that we own nothing. Detachment is that nothing owns you. Detachment is often perceived as distancing oneself. I mean, often perceived. Now you say, oh, I'm very detached. But in truth, the highest form of detachment is found in being close to everything without allowing it to consume or control you. You know, I thought that was really such a powerful thing. You can be in the midst of everything, enjoy it, but not allowing it to consume or controlling. So I know Suresh just joined. Sureshi, there is, we had this, what is that? Time change. Yeah, so the time change. So we started the class today at 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. And Suvarna reminded me last night. So even though she reminded me last night, my body, which I'm so attached to, did not cooperate. So I myself had to start the class about almost 15 minutes late. So that is why we are almost finishing now. So I did this value called asaktihi today, or non-attachment. Okay, so I think we'll finish this and we'll meet next week. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyat dukkha bhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shantihi. Om purnamadav purnamidam purnat purnamudachyate purnasya purnamadaya purnameva vashishyate. Om shanti shanti shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om, everyone.
Hari
See
Om.
you
Thank you,
next
Om.
week.
Sunita.
Thank you,
Thank
Sunita
you,
ji.
everyone. Hari
Yeah,
Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, thank you so
Om.
much.
Hari Om.
Yeah,
Hari Om, Suresh
shut
ji.
off.
See you. I will stop the